Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another weekly forecast. And in this one, I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into it. Quick overview. I'm just going to be talking about gold. I'm going to be talking about Nasdaq because I've been trading it a lot more on futures, and I'm excited to get into that. And obviously with gold at the moment, you can see what's been going on. We've got if you go into the weekly time frame, these weekly candles are absolutely tiny compared to what they used to be. So, which tells me that price is sort of in a consolidation and it's waiting for some sort of manipulation first, then we would get distribution. At the moment, you can see that price is on a trend line. It's respecting a trend line. I don't like that one bit. I've mentioned on my Telegram. Again, free Telegram is in the description if you wish to join it. But what I'll be expecting is some sort of breakdown here to collect the liquidity first before shooting up at the moment, hence why I'm staying away, because I do not want to trade in no accumulation. We want to trade in the distribution move. So still currently waiting at the moment. You can see that on the weekly time frame, last week we ended up taking out our target was the prior weekly high, and we ended up getting that, and you can see that price is sort of still within the same range. It failed to close above the prior weekly high, which is a bearish sign going into next week, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So again, we have spoke about the high time frame there. You can see that we're on a trend line. We got plenty of sell side liquidity. However, we need to wait for the market to go into a sell program, and right now we are currently seeing order flow is still respecting bullishness and respecting bearish price action as well. So that's what keeps the price into a consolidation. If it's respecting you know uh, bullish moves and then respecting bearishness, you can see that we're back into the same place where we started the move, which is consolidation. So you can see here I've got this inverted fair value gap marked up. You can see that price has used it once, pushed up to collect the sell side liquidity on the left here, and this was that initial push, I believe. Note that we started off the week here, and then we ended up pushing back down towards this inverted fair value gap, and then pushed back off it again on Thursday. You can see here that the sell side was created. This is exactly what I was sharing on my free Telegram. If you guys know, you can see that the sell side is here. And price ended up giving a massive spike to the upside, collecting the weekly high here. You can see that. Look at that. This is almost equal highs, you can say. And then price collected those equal highs, and then price pushed back down. And then guess where it attacked next? All throughout Thursday Asia session, price attacked that sell side. Once it did that, it then started to push up towards the buy side. So that's exactly how these markets move. They go to attack sell side and then go back to attack the buy side. They just go and target liquidity. As you can see, this is how the markets are moving. They're sort of attacking liquidity points and then onto the next sort of objective. So you can see what at the moment price is currently pushing up towards this big long wick here. So that is the main buy side at the moment here. That is the prior weekly high as well. So I'll just put that as that is a cycle sort of high. It's like a key level. So that's a prior weekly high. So that'll be the key level that we'll be watching going into this week. And then we have the prior weekly low, which is right there. So this is the first step I tend to do. It's quite key, and it makes it quite simple to mark out these levels on a higher time frame. So if I get this and then mark it up again and then mark that as the prior weekly low, you can it gives you a sort of range to now play in. So like something like that. So now we have a prior weekly high and prior weekly low. The prior weekly low is sitting in an inverted fair value gap, right? This inverted fair value gap is also sitting on this trend line. Funny enough, you can see it. Look at this trend line. If price sort of returns back to this prior weekly low and closes below it, this confirms to me that price is now in a sell program and will likely to continue lower to attack these lows here. Now, the question is market going to tumble over and just go and attack this low? Maybe, but I doubt it would, because I know this prior weekly high is there. The way I trade and my strategy, as I'll demonstrate here, is I tend to target these liquidity points as the manipulation. So then the price leg will push up here, inducing buyers. Buyers will think that price is going to break out. However, once we get that sort of reversal pattern in here and a change in state of delivery, then you can see that price will likely target the next liquidity point, which is down here. Because it's collected one above here, yes, it can continue higher. However, the main objective may be on a higher time frame to clear out these lows eventually before going higher. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. And that pretty much will be my weekly forecast going into this week. I'm expecting for price to attack the prior weekly high, and then from the prior weekly high, if we get that at the start of the week, for the market to start turning over and then attacking the prior weekly lows. On Tuesday, we have Powell's speech, existing home sales, and then durable goods. Nothing too major in terms of news, so I'm expecting price action to do its thing, and hopefully we get that sort of clear price action where price can start attacking that prior weekly low. This gives you that sort of push that the price action needs to get back below this level here. And then now that we're back in this range and we've cleared out the highs, we would expect for price to close below, and that would be the main target for the week. Obviously, that's the second target for the week. Apologies, that will be the first main target, which is the prior weekly low. And that's what I'll be expecting. Nice, clean and simple. That's all I'm waiting for. So I'm going to keep these two lines on here, see if price gets above this level here, and then start looking. Anything in this range, I do not care. We have liquidity on both sides. If price wants to go and start chopping around in here, who cares, bro? I'm not going to get involved. I'd rather go to a better market, and which is trending, like Nasdaq. And that's exactly what we're going to go over next. One more thing to mention here is we have another fair value gap that we have here, and like so. You can also put that there and drag that across. So these should be, used as support on this bullish move here. If any of these start to get broken below, I'd expect something like this. So if I mark this up quickly, and now 1 hour fair value gap here, 1 hour fair value gap here. I know I did cover multiple, but I'm just using it as a rough guide here. So you can see that we have this big wick. Stop losses could be placed above if price wants to go. However, if you start seeing price start pushing below here, and these will start to turn into inverted fair value gaps to push price down, and then that's what you could also use if that aligns with your strategy. For my strategy, I like to wait for those key weekly highs to be taken out first. Gives me the best place of selling this market. You want to sell within the wick of the weekly candle, and that wick could be formed at the top of the prior weekly high. So that's what I'll be waiting for. I gave you another scenario there quickly, and that's what potentially could happen. That's what I'm expecting. Let's go over to Nasdaq, and this is where I get my fancy double charts out. You can see if you pull that back across here. Hey, here we are. Right, Nasdaq, S&P, clear stuff that we had going into last week. You see that? Look, clear SMT. If you guys don't use SMT and trade Nasdaq, try and do so. If you're an ICT trade especially, you can see from this is the weekly low from last week. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to go across to there, and that spike that we had, you can see that we had something like this. Can you see how they're inversely correlated? These are correlating pairs, and when we have a cracking correlation right here, as you can see that this low failed to take out that low did take out this low. This tells us that the market is switching into a buy program, and that's exactly what we were looking for. I did miss this trade unfortunately because it was way too quick. However, you can see from this area, that's our point of interest. Going over to the left here, and price used that to attack the highs, and you can see that the same happened on NQ, which is around this area here, and then price attacked the highs like that. So that was last week. Now going into this week, what are we looking for? Obviously this point of interest is still a key level. I will keep it there. If price closes below this, we are back into the sell program, and then price will be attacking the sells. So I'll use that as a inverted fair value gap. So right there, you can see that we also have on the daily time frame a daily fair value gap on the left here. So if I bring this, because we're going to be focused on Nasdaq only, so might as well use that. Obviously I use S&P mainly as a to track correlation and to see if we get any sort of cracking correlations basically. At the moment here we have this order block right here, and that's going to be key for us to see if price holds above this order block. There we have an inverted fair value gap and an order block. This you could say is your breaker, where price should hold above this way at this place and push higher. I'll be expecting, well, pretty much on the weekly time frame, we have a previous weekly high, previous weekly low formation. This is a very big bullish candle on the weekly. Going into this week, I'm expecting that previous weekly high to be taken out. Just in general, as a bullish continuation, you're expecting the highs to always be taken out if you're expecting another bullish week. So going on the daily time frame here, you can see that we have this daily fair value gap. This should be used going into next week. So I'm going to mark it up here. I'm going to be using that as where price could turn around for the start of the week. What we could get is we could get, the candle pushing up on Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday pushing back into this level. And then from Wednesday, we should get some sort of Thursday, and then Friday sort of, push back up to the upside. That could be your sort of weekly profile. That's what I'll be looking for. Dropping down to the hourly time frame, a lot of boxes now, so let's zoom out here and let's go here. Let's clear this box out there. That's your daily fair value gap. So going in, I'll be watching prior daily lows, looking at those liquidity sweeps, and to see if we can continue and attack this high right here. This is obviously where we had the S&T on US 500. I'm so used to saying US 500. However, it's ES. You can see that we have this high to there. That was going downwards. Whereas this one actually broke above, which actually gave us the indication that the market was going to sell off here. You can see that this high was being protected on this asset. However, this high was cleared out, and then price sort of started to turn around right there. So yeah, in short, going into next week, I'm bullish on Nasdaq. I'll be looking for bullish prices. I'm going to still be bullish until price breaks below this inverted fair value gap. If it stays above it, we use that as momentum to continue the push higher. That's pretty much it. The links are all in the description if you wish to join the free channel and VIP. It's always FX. Peace out.